Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, folks. Michael Zuber, one rental at a time, back with his Friday guest and significant donator to the Central Valley Food Bank. Thank you very much, Stephen, for being a part of it. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate you. Maybe we don't want to scream that too loud. All of a sudden, I'm going to get a bunch of nonprofits knocking down my door.
Not my problem.
Oh wow, Stephen Dowd, the
philanthropist
on One Rental at a Time. Yeah, let's just email him a bunch of stuff. Great. Yeah. Anyway. But that's okay. Yeah,
that's hilarious. But anyways, what I want to talk, before we get into the topic, which I think is an important one, it's actually a place that I fished before, and it's awesome because not a lot of people are there. Right. And again, we'll get into it in a minute, but let's do the marketing spiel so I don't forget.
Again, although I work very happily for Velocity Mortgage Capital, all the ideas and topics discussed on this channel are that of my own. So let's get it going.
So what I want to talk about here is an interesting part of the real estate market that is often ignored. And frankly, I stumbled across it. I went to a real estate meetup. This is all in my first book, One Rental at a Time. So I went to a real estate meetup. Olivia and I are sitting on 7 or 8 houses. I feel like I'm stuck because housing is too expensive. I remember the guy putting his arm around my shoulder. I can almost feel it there. And he basically goes, Michael. I'm like, I don't know you. What are you touching me? I still remember that. I remember thinking that, going,
who's this guy?
What is this guy doing? Anyways, he started talking about small apartment buildings. And again, my mind heard apartments. And I thought about the only thing I knew, which was 300, 400, 500 unit things. I didn't know. Sure. And again, I was in the business 5 years at this point. And he's like, no. He said small apartment commercial loans. And I didn't know where the threshold was at the time, which is shocking.
Right.
The threshold is 5, right? 4 and below, fourplex, triplex, duplex, singles, you can get residential Fannie Mae loans.
Correct.
5 and above, it's commercial. And oh, by the way, the commercial market is way different lending. 25-year AMs, 3, 5, 7-year terms, just a whole different ballgame.
Right.
But again, I didn't know this at this time. But what I started to do, and again, I still own almost everything I bought those first couple of years via 1031 exchange, is the 5 to like 20 units is a market that's often ignored because it's too small for the big boys and it's bigger than the average new investor wants to look at. So something I want to ask people, if you've been fishing for a long time in your market, you might want to add a buy box. Now, this is not permission for anybody who's been doing this a week. If you've been doing this a week, stay in your buy box. But if you got 4 months on you, you might want to add a buy box for 5 to 20 units because I think you will see less competition. And then the financing will be very different. But frankly, that's where Velocity Mortgage comes in because 30-year
we're
money,
doing one right now.
AMs. Yeah, go for it.
Yeah. Well, no, I was just going to say, shout out to Miguel. Won't use his last name. Picked up a nice 6 unit. It actually worked out pretty well. He knows the market. He did his homework. I'm sure, this is the buy box he was looking at, but I don't want to give too much detail, but it worked out very, very well.
Again, the 5 to 10s, right? This was a 6. That's a market that's just, because again, it's going to be too big. You're not going to get residential loans. You're not going to get, so let's be very clear. The average real estate investor, if they were to look at a 6-unit building like Miguel, wouldn't understand what they have. Because first and foremost, they're going to be upset that they're not going to get Fannie and Freddie loans. Oh, you mean I can't get 30-year Fannie loan? No, doesn't qualify. 6 is more than 4. Sorry. Then they're going to call their bank and they're going to ask questions because they haven't done this before. And I say this as someone who did everything I'm talking about. And then they go, okay, great. Yeah, we do commercial loans. I remember calling Wells Fargo back in the day because that's where they had all my money. And I didn't really have a lot of money, but it's what little I had, that's where it was. And I talked to them and they're like, yeah, we do commercial loans. So again, I got a call and I bounced around and finally talked to somebody and I talked about a commercial loan. It was like 200 grand. And the guy literally chuckled out, like he had an involuntary reaction. Oh, I'm sorry. We don't do those commercial loans. I'm like,
right.
I'm like,
$1 million or more, right?
yeah, like, did you just like, what did you just say to me? Right. I'm too small for you. I'm not important. Yeah. So
Right.
again, commercial loans have their thresholds, right? 500K or a million limits. They want the big stuff, right? These big banks.
Right.
Then you get into the process and you find the second tier, or you find someone else and they're like, oh, we don't, like, you do your spreadsheet in my buy box or my spreadsheet and you have 30-year AMs and you're suddenly 25. Like, well,
Right.
that makes a difference on payment. And then you
Sure.
realize that the rate's a point and a half higher. That
Right.
makes a difference. And it's just a totally different ballgame. But what I want to tell people here is fish in the 5s to 20s. I have found a
Right.
special niche there.
Right.
But once you start fishing and you get nibbles, you need to call or email Stephen Dow to figure out
Yes.
what the price points, the down payments, understand a 30-year AM versus 25, and please get fixed rate money. So
Yes.
Stephen, how do you want them to do that?
SDAO, DAO at velocitymortgage.com. Please put in the subject line just the letters ORAAT so you can pass the firewall. In the body of the email, put your brief description of what you're looking for. Maybe property address would be great. Mid-FICO score, telephone number where I can reach you back at. Yeah. And that's pretty much it. A lot of people have been forgetting to put that in the subject line and they get stuck in quarantine. So unfortunately, that's been happening a lot. I've had to make numerous phone calls and emails to follow up. You got stuck in quarantine. So I really apologize for the delayed response, folks. Yeah. But if you can remember that, then you won't get stuck, because I don't have the time, unfortunately, every day to keep checking up into that. It's immense. We get cyber attacked daily on multiple fronts. So it's got to be set pretty high, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's okay. Well, the other thing I want people to realize is a couple of the deals I did in the last 3 years were actually commercial apartments. I did a 6-unit and a 9-unit and a 5-unit. Yeah, 6, 9, and 5.
Right.
These again, when you fish there and you know the market, they can make spectacular burr projects. Because again, you can get into a property that an owner had, and all three of these, 6, 9, 5. I think. Right. All of them rents were 60% of market. All of them hadn't had maintenance done in a while. The 6-unit, we fixed up in just under a year. We doubled rents.
Right.
And, that gives you a bigger NOI, right? To use all these fancy terms, but just realize if you find the right opportunity in an apartment, commercial, you can make really big money. And
I'm just smiling because everything you're saying is what Miguel is walking into, which is great. This, fantastic opportunity. Below market rents for now. He'll come in. These are not even on a building. These are 6 separate freestanding units on a larger parcel too. So he's got room to expand. I mean, he's walking into a smoking deal, but took the time and he came across it. And then, there's not going to be many lenders because due to the condition of the property.
Sure.
There was some other aspects about it that probably conventional financing would not do. So, but yeah, in the end, he got it. It seems below market. He was able to renegotiate, and so it worked out really well. But like you were saying, he's going to come up so big when doing the numbers after he revitalizes the properties, rehabs them, and then gets the new renters. But yeah, he's looking at possibly doubling the rents as well. I mean, it's pretty ridiculous numbers, but again, these are potential. You never know. But all signs point really, really well because the market, and you can see the market rents for that type of property. The numbers don't lie. So
numbers don't lie. So really, what I want to tell you again, I want to be very clear because if you're in my course or following along and you talk about a buy box, if you've been in the buy box less than 3 months, ignore this video or put this video away. For what is it, March? So put this away for June. But if you've been in your buy box for 6 months, you kind of understand average. You're doing single families or dupes or whatever. Maybe add another buy box for 5 and above. Now, I'm not talking 50 and above because then you're going to get into syndications. You're going to get bigger. But the 5 to 20 is a market that Olivia and I fished in for years and had good success. They do take longer. There's more people. There's this. But again, sometimes in markets, you got to go where the value is. And if houses are screaming higher, fourplexes are screaming higher because Dion and Lumberjack are talking about house hacking, then go get 5s to 20s. Because again, different lending. Most folks don't do 30-year. It's just a different ballgame. So again, permission to have a second buy box if you've been doing this for 6 months. What do you think?
Well, give me a call or email me just in case, because you never know. I mean, like you said, if you expand your buy box, then that should increase opportunities for potential investing. But aside from that, you want to be able to find the right financer to kind of be able to help you participate in those opportunities. So this is what we're here for.
There you go. sdow@velocitymortgage.com. Put ORAAT in the subject line. Put ORAAT in the subject line only.
Please.
Then everything below, include your phone number so he can get back to you. Stephen, thank you very much for this. And again, thanks for that awesome donation.
Thank you, man. Appreciate you.